Hello, Matt. How are you? Happy New Year and all that.
And to you, Kate. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are
Uh,
you?
it, I'm good. I'm loving your stripy outfit.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you?
The
What
the
would you
the surf
describe it
towel.
as?
Yeah, it's a licorice all sorts bumblebee.
That's a great way to go into the new year. I hope you can keep it up for 365 days. It's so hot where I am down here on the south coast of New South Wales, and you're up in Byron. Am I right?
Mullumbimby, actually. Yeah.
Mullen, even hotter.
Not really at the moment, but it has been. The cyclone is causing great swell in the surf, which I'm
Mm.
particularly interested in. And it's raining.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for taking time out from the surf to be here.
Oh,
And
pleasure.
I just to explain to our viewers that I have asked Matt here because I love talking to Matt. That's the main reason. And the second reason is that we're just about to run a retreat. And the retreat is called Nourish Yourself, Heal Our World, and it's going to be up in the South Ballina, which is in the Byron Shire, probably about 23 minutes drive, and then across a river from Mullumbimby. So, and Matt's coming along to do body percussion there. So that's why we're having a chat. And hey, Shelley, thank you for joining us. Shelley's also going to be on their retreat. Everybody who can see that Shelley is chiming in. But that's another story. And Shelley, hopefully you'll come and be interviewed too very shortly. Anyway, so yes, so during the time that I've been talking with you, Matt, you've moved from Alice Springs to the coast. When was that?
2 years ago.
Wow, 2 years
No,
already.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Have you adjusted?
Uh, yes, it's definitely a process, and
Mm.
yeah, still finding bits of red dust in all my things. And I'm happy to leave it there. There's something of the dust in the desert in my soul. I think it's
Mm.
like almost 20 years of visiting and living in remote communities and Alice Springs and Barnswire on Aaron.
Mm. Mm. It's such an amazing place. It really is, like it's one of those places that I feel like at some stage everybody that lives in this land should head for, and just feel into and see what that's all about. Mm.
Absolutely.
Any
I
mm,
agree 100% with that.
mm. So here you are in your surf outfit by the ocean.
Yes.
And what are you doing with your life now on the coast?
So yeah, well, so currently I'm living in Mullumbimby, which I think is Arakwal uh, country, and I'm running a youth centre in Ballina, which is Nyungbol country, and yeah, so that's for young people 12 to 18, and it's licensed. We have a license from the Clubhouse Network, which is come from MIT in Massachusetts, and it's all about providing technology to young people. Yeah, digital
Okay.
storytelling. I've kind of taken it in that sort of direction because I'm keen for young people to be creators rather than consumers, because technology is just all around us all the time, and I'm grateful because we get to use things like this so we can communicate. Yeah,
Mm. That's
surfing.
just a beautiful thing that you want, that you're heading for that creative impulse that's in all of us. Like, you'd be really excused for not knowing that we're the creators of our own destiny because we've given so many options for our destiny on the consumer market right now, especially if you're young, that it can get very exhausting, I think, having that defined for you. And, we're all beautifully different, aren't we? So being able to create your own destiny is a beautiful aspiration.
There's so many stories flying around, and I love story. I love listening to stories. I love telling stories. But with so many coming at you so quickly in short chunks, it can just lead to overwhelm. So
Mm.
yeah, I was an early adopter of technology, but at this point in my life, I feel like coming back, especially to the body, and you know
Mm,
what we're talking about today, body percussion,
mm,
is something that I just needed to do.
yeah.
Surfing is something that I've just recently discovered as well, and I've been very lucky um, to have been mentored and connecting with some old school surfers,
Mm,
been, you know, part of that lifestyle, and that's reconnected me to the back to the ocean in a really different way.
mm.
And I'm just loving so much the feeling that I get from that kind of, you know, it's like it's an ordeal getting in the waves, and you can surf them, you can get dumped, and it's not a person, it's nature, and then there's dolphins and whales, and it's just
Mm.
it's so amazing.
It is so amazing, isn't it?
Really,
I went down at dusk in the where I live yesterday and watched these two sharks having a frolic off the
oh,
island, and they were just like snarling and leaping and snarling and leaping. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were eating, but they were so full of joy, like the sharks. I was just like laughing out loud in the middle of the bush. I was like, wow.
yeah,
It's great. And I guess that's something that I get from you anyway, in our few times that we've talked, but it's that joy, you know, that joy of actually being present in your body and playing with your body, which surfing is one iteration of that, and body percussion that you're about to share with us on the retreat in February is another. And I don't know how many of our listeners know what body percussion is, but I'd love to hear you talk about it, what you feel it is.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely all about the body, and it's I love it because all you need is your body. Like you don't need any external thing, just
Mm,
you in a place,
mm,
and yeah, it could be nature. It's I love wooden floors and halls, especially because of the sound.
mm,
Essentially, body percussion is using your body as an instrument, and applying rhythms, and using vocal phrases and rhythms. There's a lot of different cultural influences with body percussion. I came across it probably about 20 something years ago, and
whoa.
a friend and mentor of mine, Greg Sheehan. And
Greg.
Greg, you know Greg,
I know Greg. He's an amazing creature. Yeah.
he has
What is
just
that?
done this book.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know, it's called The Rhythm Diaries.
Okay.
And so Greg showed me body percussion, and he showed me about rhythms and how to use numbers and looking at patterns in nature, like flowers
Mm,
and petals, as a way to inspire
mm,
working with rhythms. And in this book, he's kind of collated maybe about 300 musicians around Australia who have all been inspired from Greg. And he asked me to kind
mm,
of do a body percussion part
mm,
in there. So it's a fantastic book, so many ideas, and
mm,
it was a privilege to contribute to that. And so Greg was really, you know, an inspiration and pivotal in getting that going. And what happened after that was that I moved to Sydney, and a friend of mine had a dream that I was going to join their dance group. And so I joined their dance group. It was a Polynesian dance group. Part of my
yeah.
ancestry is Samoan. And
Uh,
so in the Polynesian dance group, we did kind of dances and songs and log drumming from all around the Pacific. We had quite an experienced teacher, Tito.
mm,
And one of the dances that I learned there, a cultural dance, is slut dancing from Samoa. And
mm,
it's a really joyous, fun, frivolous
mm.
kind of thing. And it sort of came from mosquitoes. So
So,
and it turned into a dance, and people would have lots of fun with it. And it's one of those evolving sort of cultures where each generation that
mm,
sort of comes up adds their own kind of thing to it. There's body percussion in from Africa. There's body percussion like in Europe, in Turkey, so in Brazil. In over the last 2 years, I've been keeping a keen eye on the socials, and
mm,
there's lots of different groups. In America, they have a thing called STEP, and it's body percussion, but it's very American and very kind of cheer and very angular and very hard and kind of ta-da and performery.
Yeah.
The stuff that I've kind of developed over the last 20 years is not so. I come from a performing background. I was always interested. My favorite moments were in workshops that went for like, half a day, and it's just that very the last half an hour when everyone's kind of got it in their bodies. We're using our voices, we're harmonizing. All the vocal and the musical stuff comes off the rhythmic phrases that you essentially talk first. You know it in your head, or you apply it to your body. We go through that, and then I do some arrangement sort of stuff, and have several different groups, and then we're all singing, and then there's this thing that happens where people let go, and you kind of move forward from the patterns. You start listening, and what I've noticed, what I've observed, is that you sort of go into like a trance state, and that's my really favorite moment, because it's like you can see the all the cognitive stuff starts to kind of melt, and in your body you're doing repetitive motions, and you're stepping, and so your body sort of takes you on this journey, and then all of a sudden people start improvising with their voice and with harmonies, and that moment is such a beautiful moment. I love that moment.
It sounds like, again, it's about stepping off the page into that creative impulse, your own creative impulse, and bringing it in with everybody else's. Is that
through
what you're saying?
through structure? Yeah. So
structure.
and that's the sort of the path that I've kind of gone down, is that you're stepping with your feet, you're learning a vocal phrase that you can eventually harmonize with your voice, and you're using your hands as well. So you've got actually a lot going on, and I call it falling off yourself. And you see people and you're doing a simple body percussion phrase, and then you do a call and you go, okay, now we're going to step, and people like literally almost fall over. And it's amazing, because what I'm observing is people's brains trying to integrate what can be quite a complex thing. And then what's really beautiful is that you go, okay, stop, and then start again, and then stop, start again, and then eventually, and usually it only takes about 20 minutes. Suddenly you start to see the change in people. Oh, there's creepy. You start to see the brain, the neurons firing, blockages dissolve, and people start to connect, their feet with their thinking, with their hands and their breathing, because you've got to breathe through all of this as well.
And breathe. No.
And breathe. Yeah.
So how available is this to your average Joe Blow like me? How available is it to do a body percussion session? Do I have to have some kind of natural rhythmicity, which is what a lot of people ask, or a lot of people say, I don't have natural rhythm?
If you can walk, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing. That's something, that's a phrase that I don't know where I heard it, but I love it. And our culture is so self-conscious, and we want to be perfect and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually really quite easy. Coming from a theatre background, I've done a lot of exercises in group work, trust building, image theatre, forum theatre. And so all of these, I've taken techniques from all of these different modes, and they're performative, but I've kind of brought them back into into a space where people have very different sort of levels of connectedness with their breath and with their body. And so I really love working with a group who have a very diverse sort of sense of connection with their bodies. And what I'm really good at is actually just looking at a person and going, oh, okay, so let's just focus on stepping for a while. So there's some great exercises where we just imagine a bubble around us, so we're not hitting one another, and we just kind of like walk around like molecules in this space. And what happens, and I've experienced this before, where I'm not even instructing people. People, once they walk, they'll fall into a rhythm together, a pulse. That shows that everyone in that group will go into the pulse, and then what will happen is speed up. What's really interesting is sometimes I catch that moment and go, okay, now we're all going to try and slow down together at the same time, and that's really interesting. People find that really hard, but it's a great exercise in tuning into your own body within a group context as well. So there's lots of really good things going on there.
I can, like just hearing you talking, I'm picking up a whole lot of therapeutic themes, things that could make people feel better about themselves, about being in a group, about their body, about having fun, etc., etc. I'm interested to know, can body percussion be used one-to-one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in a one-to-one setting, you've still got two people, me and the other person. And I don't know if you've ever seen kids, they play all these games, like that.
Powder cake.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. It's play. And you watch children play, which we all need to do more. So we remind ourselves that we can play, and they just create these things. And you see that all across the world in so many different cultures. And that's why I love body percussion so much, because it's just inherent in all of us that we have a body, and we can use our hands and our feet. And
there we can. So just let me ask you another question. Like, Matt, you're almost on our platform, meaning you're 3/4 of the way there, and you and I are going to push through today. Because it's, as you'll warrant, it's a joyful experience coming onto our platform, but there are lots of bits that need to be put into place. So once you're up there, are you planning to offer one-to-one body percussion? Like, could you do that online?
Online.
There's a challenge.
Yes, it's doing rhythmic stuff online is you're always going to have the delay with the internet, the latency. So it's difficult to actually do it together. But I think there's, I've thought about this a lot. There's definitely ways around that latency to engage people online. So it'd be more like a conversation. I show you something, I observe you doing it, I give you feedback, and just break down all the different aspects so that in leaving you've got something to work on. I think that's really important. So you can do it. Just like I do it when I'm walking and I'm looking, on the pavement, and you see the little cement sort of blocks, and the lines are like patterns, and so there's so many things just around you that.
What's that little saying? Whenever I walk down the street, I'm careful where I put my feet. Do you know that one?
No, but it's great.
well when we're together, I'll show you. Look, it's such an interesting kind of concept, and I love that you said that Greg has brought how many rhythmic musicians? 330. How many has he installed?
Yeah,
300. Like, it's, who'd know? It's a lot of people.
That's a huge community, and who just jumped on and did that because Greg is such an inspiration.
Yeah. Well, I cannot wait to be inspired by you, and I hope a whole lot of people that see this video think, oh, I better get to that retreat on the 21st of February up in South Ballina to nourish myself so I can heal the world. So
absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait to see you on the platform. That's another thing I can't wait for. And so in general, I can't wait. And I want to thank everybody who listened in today to us, and all those who will listen in over the next few weeks. So really, really appreciate hearing your time, having your time, and hearing your story. Is there anything else we should add?
Oh,
No.
look, there's so much. Don't get me talking.
I like hearing you talk, but I always promise when we do these things that we'll keep it to 20 minutes so people's days stay their own. So thank you so much, and really, really appreciated. And I'll see you on the other side of this broadcast. Thanks everybody for coming, and thanks Shelley. It will be great, and I hope you'll be part of that when you're up there. Take care all. Bye. Bye, Matt.
See ya.